Hello, my name is Harrison Pruitt, and today I'm going to try and persuade you on why standardized testing is bad. Standardized testing has become outdated and unreliable when it comes to measuring intelligence. We all remember taking the ACT or the SAT or maybe even the SSAT because they're still fresh in our minds. Many of you were probably like me and can remember the countless hours spent in preparation for these tests that we were told would dictate, at the very least, the next 4 years of our life. What we weren't told is why they were so important. Why were we being judged off these 3-hour tests? And how is it supposed to convey to those who grade it what we've learned in our 17 or 18 years of life? Personally, I felt I was worth more. I want you now to imagine two students, one of which is very gifted inside and outside of the classroom but can't take a test. The other one is failing all his classes but can take a test. Why does that second student more deserving to go to a school than the first one? While standardized testing is ultimately destructive for students and schools alike, there are some benefits that need to be acknowledged. In 2015, a dozen civil rights groups commented on the popular trend to opt students out of standardized exams. They said for civil rights community, standardized test data provide the power to advocate for greater equality under the law. In terms of equality, standardized testing allows for the ultimate, most unbiased way to keep school curriculums modern and challenging, although it is important to keep in mind that poor scores reflect not only on the student but the school as well, which risks closure, which happens predominantly in lower-income neighborhoods. Standardized tests are useful when they're used as data to help schools improve the quality of teaching and learning. They become harmful, however, when the tests are used to judge students' natural abilities, and when educators are put under pressure to teach the test. Schools and parents should always look at standardized tests not as a value of judgment on the student, but as an additional data point that can provide some perspective on student learning. According to evidence, one of the many problems with the tests is that the tests, for one, have no evidence supporting the idea that they're in any way beneficial. Many consider the No Child Left Behind legislation to have lowered the national success rate in education. A study by the National Academy of Sciences concluded that available evidence does not give strong support for the use of test-based incentives to improve education. Scholars agree that a single test score or set of test scores don't really measure what students have learned in a test or at school. The tests don't cover many skills and leave out material, such as art or history, or the fine arts. So if there's no evidence that supports the belief that standardized testing is an accurate measurement of education and knowledge, why does the government and schools still enforce them so heavily? Why are we required to submit that score before applying to our dream school? These tests not only do not properly measure a student's ability, but they're proven to reduce creativity and destroy students' love of learning. There's no test that can properly measure someone's success both in and out of the classroom and identify well-rounded individuals, which the schools desire. So as this is the case, it is important to keep standardized tests available for those who'd like to take them and optional in school admissions in a way that doesn't penalize students who choose not to take the tests. As long as we can reduce the seriousness of a test that doesn't properly measure what it's designed to measure, then we will hopefully be able to develop a more effective way for schools to identify the desirable students. While standardized tests have their benefits, they are extremely outweighed by the negative effects they have on students and ultimately our country. For example, when I was going through studying for these tests, I remember a lot of stress and anxiety surrounded studying for it and test day and after and receiving my scores. More recently, however, I've spent the past 2 weeks tutoring my 9-year-old brother to prepare him for the SSAT. He kept asking me, what score do I need if I want to get to this certain school, the school that you went to? What do I need? How do I have to do it? And I had to explain to him that he had to do his very best. And that score was very important for his admission into his dream high school. And that was very concerning as not only an older brother, but a future parent and a student who's been through it and can tell you that it's not as important as we've been told it is. Thank you very much.